Hi, my name is Kathy Sabeda, mortgage planner and proud veteran. And what do we want to talk about today? Trust. I have Ashley here. Ashley, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, I am Ashley Teague. My law firm is TEAGUE Law. I am an estate planning attorney, so I specialize in estate planning, trust, and probate law.
Wonderful. So, what is the importance and the benefits of having a trust, especially here in the situation with COVID? And if they decide when we do go back to work, what precautions or what should we be doing to prepare accordingly?
Generally speaking, everyone needs some kind of estate plan in place, whether or not we're in the COVID-19 situation. It's just a basic thing that most people need. It's just that COVID-19 has motivated some people to get moving on getting their affairs in order. So I'm here to be calm and centered for everyone, for my clients, to act as a resource, to remind everyone that there's no reason to panic or freak out, but now is as good a time as any to get your estate plan in place. And so you asked specifically about trust. Many, particularly in Southern California, need a trust and they don't even realize it. This is because in California, we want to avoid probate if we can. Now, if people aren't aware of what probate is, it's the court process that your heirs have to go through after your death if you don't have a trust in place. So if your estate is valued at more than $166,250, which is currently what we call the probate threshold as of 2020, it's indexed to increase year by year, but currently it's 166,250. So if your estate's valued at more than that amount and you don't have a trust in place, your estate will have to be probated at your death. And so why do we want to avoid that? It's because probate is extremely time consuming, usually takes at least a year, sometimes more to complete. It's extremely expensive and it's just a general pain in the butt. Mm-hmm. Fees in probate are set by statute as a percentage of your estate value. So those fees add up to tens of thousands of dollars really, really quickly. So the alternative, setting up a trust and avoiding probate while you're living is, relatively incredibly cheap compared to the cost of probate. Also, if you have minor children, a trust is really helpful to ensure that, in the unlikely or unfortunate event that something happens to you, that your assets are held and managed for your children's benefit until they reach an appropriate age for some kind of distribution of that money. So really it's a way to take care of your family, make sure that they're properly protected in case something were to happen to you.
So if I understand what you're saying, if I don't have a trust and something happens to me and I'm a homeowner, I may not have enough protection for my children. And then what happens to the assets? Can the family, do anything with it, or do they have to, how does that part work?
So if you don't have a trust and you have to go through probate, that's the process that will get title transferred into your heirs' names. And it takes a long time and it's pretty burdensome versus with a trust, you can accomplish the same thing, transferring title to your assets to your heirs, just much more quickly and efficiently. Mm-hmm. The successor trustee that you appoint or nominate in your trust takes over and is able to administer the assets and make distributions for the most part outside of the court process.
Because that also, people have to be concerned because you have to have the assets in order to be making that mortgage payment, right?
Right.
That's what the trust helps with versus it doesn't, right?
Right. If there is a mortgage payment that needs to continue to be made, if there's a piece of real property in the estate, then, if you've properly put your bank accounts in trust as well, then your heirs will have immediate access to those bank accounts. Pretty much immediate access. They'll have to give the bank a little bit of paperwork, but then they're able to access those funds, continue making mortgage payments, and take care of everything pretty seamlessly.
So if I didn't have a trust and I was considering protecting my assets with or without COVID, as you mentioned, when people are more motivated, from start to finish, how long would that usually take if they gave you a call and say, hey, Ashley, I'm interested in getting a trust?
Yeah, we're still able to move forward with estate planning, but the initial consult and meetings will be over Zoom or phone.
Okay.
For everyone's safety. And, from the time that the client gets their information to me, their, information about their family status, their assets, their estate desires, it usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks for me to complete drafts. This kind of varies depending on my workload, but that's the roundabout time. And, of course, if there's some kind of an emergency, whether it's medical or otherwise, we can fast track things.
Okay, great. And so with the fact that, everything is pretty much online, it would be interesting to say it shouldn't take the family too long, right, to gather most of their documents. Do they have to print it? Can they email it to you? How does that part work?
Yeah, everything can be done over email.
Okay.
The only thing that needs to be printed is when they're ready to sign the final documents.
Mm-hmm.
Those need to be printed out. But if clients are at that stage and comfortable with it and ready to go forward with the signing, my mobile notary will print everything and bring it with him to the signing. His name is Patrick. He's with SD Signings. He's great. And he's, still been working during this time because, the federal and state government have both deemed notaries as essential businesses right now. So he has the go ahead to continue working. And if, we do have to do a signing and him or another mobile notary comes to your home, hopefully they're taking all the right safety precautions. Patrick wears a mask. He brings fresh pens, tries to maintain social distancing as much as possible while he's there. Even doing it outside at a patio table, if that's possible, if that's how your house is set up. So it's still possible to sign the plan, just taking some extra precautions.
And so then once they sign and they get everything notarized, it's usually that grant deed that is the one that's most important, correct?
Right. So if you do own a home and you set up a trust, a really important part of that is making sure that the trust is funded with your assets. So the trust and the trustee has no control over assets that it doesn't own. So you fund the trust, you fund a piece of real property into the trust by signing a deed, which transfers title from your individual name into your name as trustee of your trust. So now it's in the trust. It's still in your name though, meaning your name is trustee. So you still have complete control over your property. It's not like you're giving, up any kind of control. There aren't really any income tax implications of doing this. So, but yes, very important to execute that deed transferring title into trust.
And so how about, I have a couple of clients that they either have a reverse mortgage or they have a mortgage and they have a trust, but they can't find the trust. So then what happens?
So yeah, this creates quite a problem. And I know it's frustrating for someone if they've already gone through the process of setting up a trust and then whoops, I can't find it. It's frustrating for them to learn that they might need to do an entirely new estate plan, a new trust. But it's really important, once you get your estate plan, once the trust is signed and executed, that you know where the originals are. And hopefully your estate planning attorney will scan everything in for you and give you digital copies. I do this for all of my clients. So if you have those digital copies, make sure that you've saved them, that they're backed up on your hard drive, and that people know how to access them. Because, common problem that someone will get a trust set up and then they can't locate it. If we've looked everywhere, look through all your paperwork, through all your emails. If you've talked to your drafting attorney and you really can't find a copy, unfortunately, you might have to execute a new document.
So then in that instance, then they would just, if they're still with us and they just draw up a new trust, and then they're good to go, right?
Right.
And you had mentioned that they're saving tens of thousands of dollars. So I just wanted to provide an example of what you mean by tens of thousands of dollars when it only costs a couple of $1,000s to get it done.
So let's take, for example, a $400,000 market value home that needs to be probated. Now, forgive me, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but the fees to probate that $400,000 home will be a certain percentage of that market value as assessed in probate. So, but it's a graduated scale, and that's why it's hard for me to calculate off the top of my head. But for a $400,000 house, you're looking at probably around 25 grand to 30 grand in probate fees.
And that's just the probate fee. That has nothing to do with the real estate. If you have to sell it, right, and other things like that. So that is what she meant when she said you can save tens of thousands of dollars getting a trust versus your property going into probate, right?
Exactly.
So thank you so much for your time. I think that we've answered most of the questions that my clients have asked. So in summary, you want to give us a quick summary on the trust and what it means and moving forward, and then your phone number if you don't mind.
So hopefully it's become clear to anyone watching this video that, if you own a home, if you have an estate valued at more than, as of 2020, $166,250, you should probably get a trust in place to avoid probate. Really important, comparatively incredibly inexpensive if you look at the cost of probate. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out, and I give free consultations. My number is 619-501-3500. And again, my law firm is TEAGUE Law.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for your time. And everyone, please stay safe and give Ashley a call if you have any other questions, if you have a trust or were considering getting a trust. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Thanks, Kathy.
Great. Bye-bye.
Bye.